What's going on, pickers and grunters? Tom here. Today we're diving deep into the ultimate Steve Gaines tone. I'm going to show you how to get his sound, what he did to get his sound, and play some groovy Steve Gaines stuff for you. So, Steve Gaines, who is he? He is the lead guitar player in Lynyrd Skynyrd from 1976 to 77. He re-energized the band. There was a vacancy with Ed King leaving the band in 1975. He was their Strat player. He brought a lot of dynamics and a lot of songs to the band. There was a hole for about a year in their sound. Cassie Gaines, one of the backup singers, she had this brother, Steve Gaines, and she said, "Hey, my brother plays guitar." And after probably pestering them enough about her brother, they said, finally, we're going to let him play on stage. He went out there, tore up the fretboard, and they were blown away. So by the time 76 rolls around, you can hear him on the One More from the Road album. By the time 77 rolls around, you hear him on Street Survivors. Steve Gaines' sound, very jazzy, bluesy, poppy. And distinctively a Strat style sound, but with some more fullness. And that brings me to getting that Steve Gaines tone. Today I've got my dad's Dean Cadillac from probably 2003, way back. And I was fiddling around the other day. And I realized, dang, this thing sounds a lot like Steve Gaines, more so than when I'm playing the Strat. And so I did some digging and learned that Steve played a lot on his 1958 Gibson Les Paul Custom. And I heard that there was coil tapping or split coil pickups in there. And what this does effectively gives you that single coil sound with a little bit of the humbuckers. So you get this Strat sound with the benefits of a Les Paul. So it's a little bit fuller sounding Strat, if you will. So this guitar comes with split coils, coil tapping. And so what I did is I rolled off some of the high end and I ended up engaging the tapping on the bridge pickup. So this left the fullness of the neck pickup and gave me the high end, a little bit of rolled off high end, but that same Strat-like coil sound right here on the bridge. And what I found was that nasally, Fenderish Steve Gaines tone. Listen to that. What I'm going through on the amp side is just a basic Boss Katana 212 Waza speaker cab. I think this thing's amazing. It's got a great tube sound, clean channel, and the only thing I've done is I've engaged the variation and I've turned up the gain about 75%, so about 2 o'clock, between 1 and 2 o'clock. And I've set the mids, I've taken a lot of the mids out, higher on the treble side and just a little bit of bass. And I find that gives me a ton of clarity and just a slight brightness that allows your sound to oomph, explore the space, if you will. Oh, when you hear the sound of Les Paul versus Strat, which we'll get into, I think you'll find it more convincing than just the Strat sound. I think the Strat has too much pop. This has a little less pop and some more bounciness in the notes with that nasal character that doesn't come from a Strat. So here's a great Steve Gaines tune that we're all familiar with. Woo! Okay, that tone is just awesome. I mean, from the pops on the, that pop, the, right there. You don't hear that note with a Strat. Woo! You hear that nasal character? Right there too. There's certain notes that have that really nasally sound. That's one of them. That sustain. Right there, some more nasally. Hear that nasally character again? I could play this all day. It's just so much fun, so clean. We're going to go over some of my tone settings a little bit more in detail here. So with the coil tapping engaged, I have the tone knob set to about 8 on that coil tap bridge pickup to roll off some of the bright highs. The tone knob is at max on the neck pickup. The volume on the neck pickup is around 7. The volume on the bridge pickup is around 6. So rolling off some of the high end, leaving in a little bit more of this low end, bassier quality. And that's what gives me that Steve Gaines sound. Once I got this sound, I said, I'm not touching those knobs ever again. And with the amp, no real big changes aside from just adding a little bit of reverb to give it some roominess, the EQ I told you about, and then I did engage some contour here to give it some more of a scooped mid feel. So you got a lot of bass and treble for that spongier scent. Now some other things technique-wise to get the Steve Gaines sound. You can hold the pick a little bit closer to your finger. That gives it a little bit more of that nasally pop sound. All right, now another song where we can talk about this whole split coil thing going on is that Smell. And that's a really Strat style song. And so that one's kind of hard to tell if it's Strat or Les Paul. But here's the sound of some of his solos in there. I just wonder if you find that more convincing than the Strat sound. We'll play the Strat in a second. The second solo. All right, now another reason why I think he may have played Les Paul on That Smell and Street Fibers is the ending solos. So we've got that part where Alan's going. So while Alan's doing that, you got this. And then we've got the walk up. One of the reasons why I think it is this is that whole nasal quality. Also, the notes are more sustaining. That right there was the giveaway for me. Those two notes put together, you will not get that sound on the Strat in that classic Strat pickup position. So let's go to the Strat for a second and play over I Know a Little and That Smell so you can hear the difference. All right, very different sound right away. This is a 1978 Fender Stratocaster. And just gonna play I Know a Little and That Smell. Dun, dun. Dun, dun. Dun, dun. Dun, dun. Dun. All right, if I had a double-necked Dean and Strat combo, I would play both of these side by side. That's too much pop sauce on that. That's way too much pop. All right, now That Smell. The only solo where I think it could be a Strat is the first one. And perhaps that second one. Whew. All right, string tension's a little higher on the Strat, so it's more difficult to play than the split coil D. Same gauge strings, just the scale length makes the tension tighter. The first two solos of Street Survivors, That Smell, could be Strat. Based on the pop. Now to the part of Street Survivors where I think it's the Les Paul. Okay, could go either way on that one. I'm more convinced it's the split coil Les Paul style sound. Dun, dun. Dun, dun. Dun. Dun, dun. 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 did play a Strat, by the way. I'm not saying he didn't play a Strat. I'm just thinking that what's recorded isn't often what we're thinking. Makes it really interesting. So Steve Gaines' sound is poppy, snappy, built around this idea of these single coil, nasally, very bluegrass sounding leads. And it's something of beauty. You can actually hear in One More from the Road on Sweet Home Alabama. Oh, that's sweet. All right, going back to the split coils. Woo! That brings me to some more notes. Tom, that sounds like Steve Gaines. Who wrote that? We're gonna go back into You Got That All Right. Kind of started off with this. That's definitely that Les Paul custom. Because of these nasally poppy notes. You don't get that with the Strat. You get too much pop. Then we got the walk up. But here is the kicker. This put a smile on the face. Woo! Yeah, okay, so that's just so Steve Gaines. Woo! Let me put the whole run together just so you can hear it. Right from that minor to major combo. All right, so once again, that nasally quality, you're not going to get that on the Strat. Ooh, so dirty. Now, another song that he did that often goes under the radar is Jacksonville Kid. And this is really his bluegrass style, chicken picking, rare Skinnerd song. Never made the final cut, but just some licks in there using his Les Paul custom. You get a feel of that pop. So thanks for tuning in today, pickers and gooners. Tom here signing off. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment below if you want to see more stuff like this. And let me know if it helped you get a better Steve Gaines sound. I'll catch you in the next episode.